Hi everyone and welcome to my greenhouse. For anybody new to the channel, a big welcome. My name's Diane and I garden here in the northeast of England. So we are into August now, and today I'm going to be sowing some 4 different colours of wallflower seeds and some white foxgloves. So I'll show you what I'm going to sow them in. So these are trays of vermiculite that I used earlier in the year, and they still had the old labels in them. So that was Cleome, Helen Campbell, some, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Physotigia, some Antirrhinums. The Cleome and the Physotigia didn't germinate at all. And I do this every year. I just reuse the vermiculite. So when it's when I think I've got all the seeds germinated that are going to germinate, I just let the vermiculite dry out, and that's what I'm reusing here. So the seeds that I'm going to be sowing are foxgloves. So I'll immediately recognize that leaf when it comes up because I plant them every year. And wallflowers or Ericium, and I recognize that leaf as well. So any other seeds that germinate are just a bonus, and they're probably going to be one of these, so Antirrhinums, or if I'm lucky, some Cleomes. Right, so it's bone dry, this vermiculite. If you haven't got vermiculite, you can use anything. You can just use multi-purpose compost if you want. And I'm filling up a tray with tap water. It's important to use tap water at this stage and not the water out of your water butt, because when the seeds and then the seedlings are tiny, they're quite susceptible to any sort of disease that you might be spreading about, so you don't know what's in the water butt. And perfectly good water for more established plants, but the guidelines are that you use tap water when you're watering your seedlings. So I don't know whether you can tell, it's just starting to soak into the vermiculite. So I'll just leave that for 10 minutes. Fill this tray up as well. We've got a little moth there. And when your seedlings germinate, it's a good thing to water them from the bottom like this as well, because when they're absolutely tiny, if you water them from the top, you can damage the stem. I'll just leave them for a second until they're all soaked. Right, so these are the creamy seeds. I mean, you don't need a greenhouse for this. Just get them to germinate on a windowsill or anywhere. One thing that I did find out yesterday when I was doing a bit research, so I'm going to put that in there, say that's a yellow. I was doing a bit research and it said that wallflowers won't germinate if the temperature is over 18 degrees. They need to be put in, the seed trays need to be put in the shade and kept cool. I've always germinated mine either in the conservatory or in the greenhouse, and they've worked. But one year they didn't, and I couldn't understand why, and I bet it was because they were too warm. So I've got my new cold frames this year, and one of them is in a sunny position and one's in a shady position. So I'm going to put all of these in the cold frames. So there's the orange. And then as soon as they germinate, I'll prick them out and grow them on as quickly as I can, and then get them out in the autumn into the ground. So these are the white ones. There we go. Wallflowers white. And what else have I got? Oh, the mauve ones. Not very many in here. It says there's supposed to be 75 seeds in this packet. I don't think there are. That one. Right. So these foxglove seeds. I don't know why I've kept half a packet of foxglove seeds. Maybe it's because I just used so many last autumn. Anyway, these have to be used by next year, so I may as well stick them all in. They're so tiny. And then you have to keep the vermiculite moist. You haven't got to let it dry out. Open the packet right because they sort of get stuck in the joint. There we go. Right, so this is what I have in my shady cold frame. I've had to put a mesh on to keep squirrels and birds out. That's that. So I've got some foxgloves there and some hellebore. There we go, that's nice and shady for them. And that one. And we'll see how they do. Right, so this is 7 days later, and the wallflowers, the yellow ones, are that big, and the white ones are that big. So I've got these little modules here, and I'm going to prick out each wallflower into its own little module, grow them on, and then in a few weeks' time, I'll pot them up into 9 centimetre pots, and then I'll overwinter them in the cold frames and plant them out next spring. Take my compost into the tray and break it up. And when your seeds germinate like this, you want to get the seedlings out and into their own little individual module trays with some compost as soon as possible. Now you see, I used this over vermiculite, and I can tell by that leaf there that is Amimagus. So I've got a few Amimagus seeds germinating there. I'll just put them up separately. And it just comes out with all the vermiculite stuck onto the bottom of the root, but you just pop it in. Right, so I'll not make you watch me do all of these because there's hundreds of them. So I'll show you when I've finished. So now I'm just pricking out all these little white ones. I'm delighted that so many have germinated. So for anyone who's new to the channel, last year I just started creating a white garden in my back garden. It's just a very small area, and it's coming on really well. And earlier this year, my sister bought me a white wallflower, and it's been beautiful, but I think she paid about $7.99 for it. Well, I mean, how many wallflowers have I got here? Hundreds. So yeah, next spring my white garden is gonna look awesome. So here we are in August now. But for anybody who's thinking, oh, I'm a bit late to sow a packet of wallflower seeds now, I would say no, just give it a go. They germinate really quickly because the temperatures are nice and mild, and you've got plenty time before the temperatures drop in the winter um, to prick them out and put them on, and then just look after them over the winter and plant them out in the spring. And if you want lots of wallflowers but you haven't got the space or the time to grow your own from seed, then you can buy bare root wallflowers. I've done that. I ordered them online and bought bare root wallflowers, and that's just basically what they are. They've got no soil attached to them at all, and they come sort of wrapped up in moist newspaper, and you separate them all out and plant them on, and that worked really well. And it's a much cheaper way of doing it than buying individual wallflowers in pots next spring, which, you know, they're still worth it. Somebody has done what I'm doing here. They've looked after them and tended them all winter, so that's what you're paying for then. But if you want hundreds of wallflowers like I do, then growing your own from seed, it's not only fun, but it's so cheap. I think these wallflowers were about £2.99 a packet. So yeah, have a go. You know, some of the ones I sowed 7 days ago haven't germinated yet. And they all catch up in the end, as long as you don't plant them too near to the end of the year when the temperatures will be dropping, and then they won't germinate, unless I have put my seed trays on a heated mat before. That speeds everything up a bit. Anyway, I'll have a look through my videos, and I'll put some links in the description box below, and then you just click on them. And I think I've got ones where I'm planting out sewing foxgloves and pricking them out, and I know I've got a video out last autumn where I was in the conservatory and I was putting a lot of my seed trays on a heated mat. So you could have a browse there if you were interested. And then you just put your module tray into a drip tray, put a label on because you will forget what colour they are. So they're yellow wallflowers there. And then I've got another module tray here. So these ones here, I recognise them. They're Amimajus seeds that I sowed last year, and they've just been lying there in the vermiculite, and then they've germinated this time round. So I'll get a head start with them. And then these are yellow wallflowers as well. And then I'll get some tap water and water them from the bottom. The soil will just soak up the water, because when they're tiny like that, and if you pour the water out the watering can on top of them, even if I had a rose on here, it would batter them down, those little seedlings. And then this is what I have left in my tray. So these are a bit too teeny, so I'm just going to pop them back into the cold frame for another few days, and when they're a bit bigger, I'll put those in modules as well. So there we go. I'm delighted with what I've got done today. Really delighted with all these little seedlings, and the fact that they've germinated so quickly. So I can't wait for the mauve ones and the orange ones to germinate. And I would say, if you've enjoyed this video, then please do come back and watch subsequent videos. It's just me pottering in the garden, doing different jobs. And just leave me a comment, say hi, and maybe subscribe to the channel. That would be lovely. But for now, I'll say bye-bye and happy gardening.